Hey guys, what's up? As requested, I'm going to review a video called Semen Retention is the Only Way Out of Slave Mind by a girl who calls herself the Queen of Semen Retention. I assume that she does that because she's one of the only girls who makes videos about this topic.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Maya, and in today's video, before I get into it, I dyed my hair. Yes, it is a new era for me. I can feel it energetically, and...
Energetically. She reminds me of that 5D girl that I reviewed a few months ago. She actually ended up copywriting my video, which of course didn't work because you're allowed to review videos on YouTube, but that's what these people do when they hear different opinions. It's mostly these spiritual people who don't want to hear different opinions, which is funny because they always talk as if they are so open-minded, they are open to everything, but when somebody comes along and tells them that they don't agree with them, then they freak out. She's also wearing some kind of amulet, which is probably supposed to channel her chakras or who knows what. Maybe she will talk about it, we'll see.
The blonde had to go. This is my natural hair color.
That's good. Natural is always best. Natural always looks the best, feels the best. You always feel best if you're natural. Whatever we are talking about obviously also looks.
And for me, the past 4 months has been truly a transformative period. I've integrated my true authentic self back inside of my center. So, yes, I just wanted to call out the elephant in the room if y'all been here for a little bit.
If you'll be here? Oh my god, she's so cringy. Wow, this is gonna be a painful video to watch.
My name is Maya, and I have become the semen retention queen. Unintentionally. Y'all, I did not know that this many men even were doing semen retention. It is...
Yes, there's a lot of losers out there nowadays. Why is that a surprise exactly?
So powerful for me to see. You guys are kings, and you guys deserve a round of applause. One moment. Don't you ever let anyone tell you that you're weak for doing this, that you're weird.
What do you mean? It's the definition of being a weak beta male. The absolute definition of it. A weak human being is enslaved. I actually made a video about semen retention years ago. It's called Semen Retention is Self-Enslavement. Semen retention is absolute slavery. Any form of self-control or any kind of control in general is enslavement. If you control yourself, it's actually a worse kind of enslavement because that means that you've been brainwashed by somebody else to enslave yourself, which is caused by brainwashing. The media, for example, you only learned about semen retention because of the media, right? Told you to do it, other human beings, some kind of influencers told you about it, and you now as a slave, because you have no critical thoughts, you don't have your own opinions about anything, followed it blindly because you're a slave. You're a weak loser who doesn't understand what he's naturally supposed to do, which is why you control yourself. Whereas an alpha male, so-called one, an actual strong animal or any kind of human being, does exactly whatever he wants to do. In everyday life, whenever, you never in any way let anybody control yourself, and you most certainly never control yourself. Because that means that you are enslaved. You may have literal chains on you, which don't let you physically do what you want to do, or you can have mind chains around you, so to speak, which means that you've been brainwashed. You now control yourself because somebody else told you to do that. But either way, you're a loser, weak slave who is being controlled by somebody. Whether it's literally physical or if your mind is being controlled, it doesn't matter because you're still enslaved. It can't get further away from being a strong king. A strong king does whatever he wants to do. And when it comes to this specific topic, he always lets it out whenever he wants to do, just like every wild animal, because they are not controlled. It's so ridiculous, man.
I want you to stay in your power and say, Okay. Because it doesn't matter what anyone says about this. What matters is you regaining your power.
That doesn't make any sense because these people who do it learned it from other people. To them, it matters incredibly much what other people say in general, what other people think about them, what people on Reddit think about them, how long they have been doing it, what people in the comments think about them. It's only done for other people at the end of the day anyway. They will tell you that they do it for themselves, but if they were left alone in the wild, would they do it? Of course not. Would anybody be vegan in the wild? Of course not. Would anybody work out in the wild? Of course not. All of it is done because of what you want to get out of other people. Your life depends on what other people think about you, which is the definition of a loser slave. Whereas a wild animal, an actual real man, doesn't care what people think about him whatsoever. It's just as far away from what she's talking about as you can get.
Your center.
Center?
So then you can change your timelines, your future timeline, and you can actually be in control.
You're the absolute queen of cringe. You're so fake. These kind of girls will wake up in a few years, delete their channel, and realize how unbearable they were to watch. These kind of girls always change their mind. It's not about being a girl. Men also do that. Men get into spirituality and all this garbage only to get out of it a few years later maximum. When they realize what a bunch of nonsense it was, they will look back at what they were talking about with embarrassment.
Of your life by surrendering control. That's something we're not aware of. We're actually surrendering control, you guys, when we don't fall victim to control. Yeah, because the media controls us.
Yeah, and you learned about semen retention from the media.
Yeah, sites, Instagram accounts.
Okay, I should mention that there's two kinds of people who do this. The ones who generally don't do it. I'm not gonna get into details because of YouTube. And that's as unnatural as it possibly can get, seeing as every wild animal does it, every human being in nature does it, and that's because that's how you reproduce. It's as natural as eating. It's worse than being a vegan who eats beyond meat even though they want meat. If you try to avoid it and control yourself, you're the bottom of the slaves. You're the weakest loser in the slave system. And then there's the second kind who don't want to watch porn anymore, which is great. That's also enslavement. And who don't want to do it themselves anymore, if you understand what I mean. And that's, of course, something that you should be doing. You should get rid of this addiction. You should stop watching it and doing it yourself. The reason you do it is to reproduce. That's what you should be doing. You should be doing it with somebody else, of course. But it doesn't make any sense if you don't do it at all anymore. It makes zero sense.
Women being overly sexualized, you having it maybe an addiction to Instagram models and hoes, or maybe dating apps, maybe you're in need of validation, and you are actually controlling that. We need to surrender.
You're the definition of somebody who needs validation. That's why you put makeup on. You want men to find you attractive. That's why you generally make videos about this topic. You want attention from men. Come on, man.
To that control. Ooh, I haven't even got into it yet and we're already getting started. Okay, yes.
Oh my god, man. This is one of the cringiest videos I've ever seen anywhere.
But you and I, we like truth. Which is why you and I are showing up today. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a participant.
No problem, mate.
The masculine energies upon this planet. Thank you. You have no idea what you are even doing by participating in semen retention.
No, it's as far away from masculinity as you could possibly get. You control yourself. You're being controlled by the media. You're a weak loser. Exactly what a masculine man would never do.
You don't know. I know. And now you know. Because when I make these videos, you guys, I'm tapping in to your guys' frequency, but I'm also tapping into the masculine energies upon this earth right now. And this is why Spirit said, yeah, Maya, this is why we guided you to make these videos. Because...
Oh, the spirits guided her to make these videos. Now it makes a lot more sense. It's probably the spirits that she channeled through the amulet, and the frequency entered her body and her mind to open up her third eye to see the truth about semen retention, which was created by the media. Great.
We're rebalancing our planetary energies right now, and that comes by people surrendering to the power that is already innately within them. And that may not make sense because we're like...
Yeah, a lot of what you said didn't make much sense, but I guess that it makes some kind of sense to you, which is the only thing that matters.
Surrendering to our own power. What do you mean, Maya? I feel really powerful when I have sex with women or when I...
Yeah, naturally, if you have found somebody you want to be with and you create a family with them, you will feel pretty powerful naturally. Yeah, that's nature. That's what a masculine man does. What are you about to say, man?
Masturbate. I feel really good.
No, because if you're not together with anybody, then you're a loser. Then you are maybe ugly, short, whatever. You are having trouble finding a mate. And that's why you end up doing it yourself. A whole different story.
Yeah, well, it's short-lived. Wouldn't you think? Are most of your sexual relationships unfulfilling? Have you ever actually had
a relationship is unfulfilling? Literally, if you think about the word filling, if you don't have children. It's as simple as that. It's because he or she doesn't actually find you attractive enough to have children with you. Whereas if somebody finds you attractive, on the first date, they will right away let you know, signal you in some way that they want to have babies with you. That's just how it actually is.
Spiritual orgasm before? A cosmic orgasm?
Oh my God.
Probably not. Now, do you know why we need to surrender control to the power within us? Because it knows what it's doing. We're the one blocking our own power by participating in acts that will actually deplete us and make us powerless. I know. You guys are probably like, it's making maybe a little bit of sense, but I also don't know what the hell you're saying, Maya. That's okay. Sometimes I don't know.
This is one of the hardest videos I've ever had to watch. And all of these people who talk about spirituality talk about something which most people don't understand. Like she's pointing out herself, people can't understand what you're talking about because you don't even fully understand what the hell you're saying. How could we understand? It doesn't make any sense. You're not saying anything concrete. In German, we have the saying, den Brei herumreden, which means that you're talking around the point. You're not actually talking about the point itself, which is why nobody understands what you're getting at.
What I'm saying, but we roll with it on this channel. That's what we do, okay? Anyways, women practicing celibacy, men practicing maybe celibacy too, semen retention.
Why would you do that? That's what the religious nuns used to do. It's enslavement. It comes from religion, celibacy. It's a punishment. It's anti-nature. It's the weakest of all weak behaviors.
You will only have such a powerful relationship to yourself, but you will have no other choice but to attract a partner on that level. Stop busting yourself in these women who you don't even love. Stop that shit. Also...
Okay, yes, I agree with her. You should be together with somebody who you actually love, which means that you really find them attractive enough to have a family with, and then you should just have a family with them. It's as simple as that.
Oh, please stop going on sites, you guys. Please stop it.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
The power of your creator energy, sexual energy, is a direct link to who created you, to who created this earth, who created the universe. And we can really get out there in thought, okay? And I'm not going to go too out there. You don't have to believe me also, but if it resonates and you're feeling what I'm saying, it's probably for a reason. So yeah, it's backed by some power. You know, your semen creates life. You can't discount how powerful that is, even if you try. It would be pretty stupid to discount how powerful.
What she's saying is so contradictory. Why then mention celibacy or anything like that? Yes, your semen creates life, which is why you're supposed to inseminate other human beings to create life together with them. That's the purpose of it. That's nature. Why talk in any way against that? Why talk about semen retention as if it's something normal when it's the most unnatural thing on earth? The video just went on and on like that. It's really hard to watch. We're gonna check out another video first. It's called I am 23 and I have no friends.
My name is Maya. I am 23 and I have no friends. I have a smile on my face for a reason. This video...
The reason is that you're pretending. No human being on earth wants to be without friends. Human beings need other human beings. In nature, you would have your family around you and maybe some other human beings.
Video will not be a pity party about the reasons why I don't have friends or why you don't have friends. Instead, we're going to dive deeper into the higher reason we do not have friends and how there is a purpose behind it and nothing is wrong with you. See it as an opportunity rather than there being something wrong. This is a perfect time for you to be friends with you. That is the most important friendship of all, is the one you have with yourself.
That makes no sense. If somebody's lonely, they're going to go absolutely nuts. They won't even be able to focus on themselves because they will be so focused on finding somebody to be together with. It's just such nonsense.
If you're beating up on yourself right now because you're having a hard time finding friends, well, the first flaw in that is finding friends. You should never have to go out and seek for friends. When the right people appear in your life, it is for a reason and it is for a season at time.
People don't simply appear in your life. If you never go outside and you sit at home, watch videos about semen retention, play video games, sit on Reddit and whatever, then you're never going to meet anybody. Of course, you need to actively look for people, especially in the system that we live in today.
Times. If you have a hard time fitting in with the crowd or feeling misunderstood by people, you're here for a higher purpose. The people that you're trying to get to like you, they're not the right people. If you have to try to get another person to see you as your authentic self without judgment, those are not your friends and you do not need them.
Okay, I agree with that for sure.
Stop beating yourself up for not fitting into crowds. It is for a reason. A lot of people will not get this opportunity of actual solitude, of being just with them. This time is meant for you to rediscover yourself, to get to know yourself, of self-development and growth.
I get what she's saying, but it's not going to work because you will always feel way too bad to even think about yourself if you don't have any people around you, whether it's family or friends, seeing as it's so incredibly important for us to have people around us, to be together with people. Only after we feel well, we can start focusing on ourselves if there's any issues.
Both. Friendships can be distractions, remember that. And you are here for a bigger purpose. Out of this period of being alone, what can you bring out of it? What is your purpose? What are you here to do or create? And focus on that, not the lack of friends, because the friends will come when they're supposed to. Your ability...
Realistically, even though it's hard for me to judge her, obviously, because I've only seen parts of 2 videos so far, it seems like she's somebody who nobody really wants to spend time with. Somebody who's at least a little bit unbearable to be around. For me, it would be incredibly hard. She seems like she's really focused on herself, which nobody wants in their friends. Nobody wants those kind of people around them because they will not have enough time for you. They will not be open and even empathetic towards you. They will always have their own interests in mind in the first place. That's what I get out of her. I might as well be wrong.
To be okay in your own company is a skill that not a lot of people have. And I've had no friends for a while now, if I'm being honest with you.
That is incredibly strange. It's naturally abnormal not to have friends. Of course, a lot of people nowadays are not exactly friend material, but still, I'm sure that with your spiritual ideas and whatever, you would be able to find people who you at the very least share interests with, and that way you could get to know them. Not that that's what friendship should be based on, obviously, it has nothing to do with friendships, but I'm just saying that it's not as if it's impossible for you to find somebody to be together with. It's not as if you seem that incredibly abnormal from the controlled slave population. I could understand that if you eat raw meat and you have all of these absolutely natural so-called beliefs that you follow, that you would be more of an outcast who would have trouble finding people to connect with because there's not a lot of natural people around, although there are still quite a lot. I've met so many in my life, but that's because I make videos and I meet subscribers. Of course, it's easier for me. My point is that she shouldn't really have any problems finding people, which makes me come to the conclusion that the problem is her. She's probably just unbearable to be with.
Myself, I don't have a group of girls to call. I'm not interested in going to parties.
Okay, that's different. If you're not interested in parties, that's good because parties are mostly about very depressed people meeting each other to take drugs, and alcohol is also a drug. Yeah, depressed people doing drugs. That's what parties are today. Back in the day, that didn't used to be the case. And clubs are basically the same. Depressed people on drugs, dancing to music which makes them even more depressed. The frequency, so-called frequency of the music from the mainstream, which is put out by you-know-who, was actually created to make you even more depressed. The frequency of the music, there is actually such a thing as the frequency of music.
Interested in going to a club. Actually, I've never even been to a club, and I'm 23.
I have never actually wanted to go to a club myself because it's insanely off-putting. It's like eating broccoli. It just seems absolutely toxic.
I don't go to bars.
Good. Bars are where the most depressed people on earth meet to become even more depressed and to have other people around them, and they swim together in their misery. Bars, clubs, it's for absolute losers.
I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I'm not
That's very good. You're a lot healthier than most of the people on earth.
Interested in numbing myself. I'm interested in growing myself. And
this is all good, actually, what she said here in the end, except that she's going down the absolutely wrong path. Snap out of this nonsense spirituality, get into nature, get into the actual physical realm. That's how you will become actually happy and fertile, and from then on create a family with somebody who's more like you. Not necessarily like-minded, somebody who's simply more natural. Start eating the natural food that humans eat in nature. Raw animal organs, blood, raw animal fat, especially important for women. Become happy, healthy, fertile, and that's when you will be actually successful in life. Everything else is nonsense.
In our 20s, it's usually for partying, like getting that out of our system. And if you're different and you are not interested in those things, you're not weird. You are different.
That's very true. You're actually very normal if you're not into that. You're actually closer to how a natural human being is. The first video was so horrible. The second one, now in the end, I can actually relate to a lot. I can actually make sense out of it.
But I also see right now, it's not the time for me. This time won't last forever. I see the friends I'm going to have in the future. I see the life I'm going to be living in the future. I believe our 20s really shouldn't be about friendships. It should be about our self-development.
This is absolute nonsense. In nature, in your 20s, you would have at least 5+ children. You would focus on them, your family. You would have so-called friends around you all of the time, every day, basically 24/7. Instead, she's saying that you should focus on your self-development, whatever that means, and self-growth. The best way to grow is to continue your bloodline, to have children. Really, really going down the wrong path.
Our self-growth, our purpose work. And sure, we can have friends along the way, but look into your friendships right now. How are they making you feel? Are they bringing you down or lifting you up? Do you find yourself being in bad habits while you're around your friends?
I have mixed feelings about her. At the beginning, I could hardly watch her video. The second one was a lot better, but still a lot of so-called false beliefs were mixed in, and that's because she's going down the wrong path, so to speak. She's been misled by other human beings. Most of these spiritual people listen to other influencers who teach them how to live their lives, and they were told that it's okay not to have friends, and then they try to cope and make the best out of being lonely, which is how you are going to feel if you're alone for such a long time. It's of course very abnormal not to have friends, most definitely not to have family around you at this age or at any age anyway, seeing as I said, in nature you would have people around you at all times. Basically, you would never be alone, and that's because it's just very abnormal. That's why people who are alone feel terrible, and listening to some spiritual people trying to teach you that it's somehow okay to be alone, that you're special, is wrong for the most part. Yes, if you're natural, actually normal, so to speak, then it will be hard for you to fit in, because people are going to see you as strange, seeing as for a slave, somebody who is natural is strange, or a lot of times they are seen as crazy, which is why it would be normal for you not to have friends then. But of course, like I said, it's still pretty easy to find them. And in her case, it doesn't make any sense because she's really not that abnormal. A lot of her beliefs still align with the mainstream. The reason she doesn't have friends is because, as she said herself, she's focused on herself. I would even go as far as saying that I'm sensing some kind of narcissism. Thanks for watching.